I will begin by actually highlighting the probiotic Inner Joy and discuss why the formulation is as it is. Probiotics are a difficult thing to get into the gut, so much so that one of the latest medical breakthroughs, believe it or not, is taking the feces of a healthy person and put it in the intestine of an unhealthy person, and they're getting all these great benefits. It sounds crazy, but it is a legitimate medical procedure. It gets dramatic benefits in many, many ways, and that's how important normal flora is in our intestine. But there's a much better way to do it. The reason that medicine has reverted to that is the difficulty of getting the cultures, getting the flora through the alimentary tract, getting it through the stomach. That's the big block sitting right there in between your mouth and your gut, is this pool of 4.5 pH that destroys life. So if you go to the health food store and you get a probiotic, and I don't care if it says it has 30 billion CFUs, colony-forming units, 95% of that will be killed by that extremely caustic, acidic environment of the stomach. That's why medicine has resorted to actually going through the back door, so to speak, which is crazy. They don't have to do that. There has been a product developed that has about $250 million in research done on it. I think it'll become more used over the coming years, but it's called lactose spore. And because it's spore form, it actually survives the stomach acid nearly 100%. So that is the way to go, in my opinion. And I've used it through special supply houses. There are some sources that are becoming available, but we are one of the first sources in a broad market platform for lactose spore, so that's going to be a great advantage for us. But lactose spore alone, it needs friends. Friendly bacteria, they love to synergize one with the other, beating back the bad, the yeast, the molds, the fungi. A little bit of balance is good, and so I chose a couple of bifidobacterium strains that actually are very stable through the stomach as well. Now, because they're not spore form, a lot of it will get destroyed in transit, but these are known to be very strong against acid and very stable through the stomach. So that's why I chose those two. And bifidobacterium are the ones that you have as a young child. The immune system is highly enhanced by the bifidobacterium, and so they'll synergize with lactospore very well. And there's also a Acidophilus plantarum, and of the Acidophilus strains, it is the most stable. So we went for stability, we went for strength, we went for actual effect, and not just numbers on the label. The manufacturer said that the total count was 4 billion CFU, but the label's going to read 3 billion CFU because he says that that's just the way they do it. They like to make sure that even a couple of years later, it's shelf stable, so you do not have to refrigerate it. These are very strong, stable probiotics. Some of the more sensitive ones actually require refrigeration, but imagine when you get those very sensitive cultures out of the refrigeration, put them into your body at 98.6 plus 4.5 for acidity, it destroys them, out and out destroys them, in many cases 100%. So we'll actually be repopulating the gut very effectively over time. Some of the other products have antifungal properties, like I think everyone should be on Fulvia. It is antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral. It has effects. It also supports the immune system. And everyone that's had yeast, candida involvement, their immune system is low. And that synergizes with the yeast. Yeast, molds, fungi, they tend to take over our bodies, and they perpetuate themselves in a number of ways. One, they actually can create cravings for you to eat the foods they want, which sounds crazy, but it's been well documented that they can secrete, whether it's some kind of hormones or scent or whatever, to make you think you want carbohydrates and sugar, so you start pounding that down, so you're feeding the yeast, mold, and fungi, the bad things in your gut. They also run your immune system down. They erode the walls of the intestines become leaky, the immune system is always on, attacking these large molecules that leak through your gut. Your immune system just can't keep it up. It ends up going to different levels of the immune system. It eventually reaches the level where it actually produces T cells, and that confers a deep immune response, but then it runs that down. So your body has less reserve to create T cells for when it needs to create T cells. Also, the liver is already challenged in our modern society because 300 known functions, and among those are detoxifying and balancing the blood, and in many cases it can't keep up. And now the liver has to break these large molecules down, the antigen-antibody complexes, and the liver becomes more sluggish, even more. That's a huge issue. So it's a downward spiral once this happens, and almost everyone is in some degree of that. So with the Fulvia helping to support the immune system, feeding our body in an uncommon way, feeding our cells so the cells can begin functioning, including immune system cells, can reset the immune system. The adrenal glands, almost everyone's adrenal glands are blown out because the adrenals have to always be on supporting the immune response, and they run down. And on top of that, people tending to work hard and on the run and high stress and all of these things running the adrenals down. It's a recipe for disaster, all of this. So that's why I'm so high on the three products that I'm really going to push, the Fulvia, Elixir Blast, because Elixir Blast is a great food, a whole food-based nutritional, that to work with the Fulvia, but then the probiotic also.